Hello students. So we've been learning about oblique sketching, and we've so far have only sketched objects that have a single cube in depth. But what if I were to ask you to draw an oblique sketch of an object that has two cubes in depth, no matter which way you turn it? Something like this. So you got two cubes in depth versus, so this is just one cube in depth. This is two cubes in depth. So how would that look like as an oblique sketch? So follow along and let's learn how to do that. Here we have our paint program open. So you should have open JS Paint app. So go ahead and open that first. And then go back to where I gave you the link for the graph paper. So let's copy the link. We can click on the link and then click copy, or you can highlight it and then right click copy. In JS Paint, go to File, Load from URL. That link that you just copied, that's the URL, so we have to right click paste or press Ctrl V and then click load. And now you have graph paper ready to be drawn on your paint program. Let's challenge ourselves by trying to draw this puzzle block. It has two cubes in depth and two cubes in height. So let's see what this might look like as an oblique cabinet view. So here we have our graph paper on the left side, and I took a picture and put the block on the right side here. And you can do this on graph paper, or you can do it on here, whichever one you think is easiest for you. But how do you start this? How do you start making this oblique sketch of this object? Well, you have to start with the face that is closest to you. So let me just quickly show what that might look like. This is the face that's closest to me. So this part of the block, that's the face that is closest to me. So that's how I'm going to start the drawing. I'm going to make the oblique sketch here kind of big so that you can see what it might look like. So I'm going to be using a 4-unit scale on this one. So, well, actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to keep it to 2 units, not 3 units. Let me just go ahead and undo all that. And it's gonna be more like this. Okay, so let's look at how that would look like on oblique. So you would go ahead and click on your line tool, and I'm gonna hold shift. The line tool is right here. I'm using the middle one for the thickness, and I drew a line that is 2 units long. Let me finish drawing that face. So it's gonna be a square that is 2 by 2 long, just like that. So each one of these little squares inside of it, that's 1 unit, so this is 2, 2. And to draw an oblique cabinet, what we do typically is we draw a 45-degree angle from the corners. And there's our, oops, I pressed Ctrl Z to undo. I really like the placement of that line. There's this first cube right here. I'm just showing you those lines. And then what we do, so we started with the cube that's facing us or closest to us. Then what we do is just continue drawing the next cube, which is going to be on top of here. So that's going to be started from this corner, and we draw a square that is 2 by 2. And then, so that we just drew these lines to represent those edges. Now we're going to draw these lines to represent those edges on this cube. So go ahead and draw those lines. Oops, let me undo. I'm just pressing Ctrl Z to undo whenever I'm not happy with the line. And then we can use our 45-degree angle lines. I'm holding down the shift key to get those 45-degree angle lines. And then I'm drawing in the back edges, which is, so those are the 45s right here on the, I'm just drawing them kind of wild. And then these are the back edges. Okay, so on your JS Paint, I should see a object that looks just like this. If you drew it on paper, it should look also just like this. You can shade it in the front faces if you want, or you can use the paint tool and click on a gray paint and paint the front faces like that. Let's see, a darker gray paint for the right sides if you'd like. Oops, edit undo. If you wanted to try a bigger scale, that's also fine. Let me try that. Let's see what that would look like. I'm gonna try a 4x4 scale. Oh, I want black line. So I'm gonna draw a line that is 4 units long, 4 units tall. There we go. And then I'm gonna go 2 units back because it's half depth. Cabinet is half the depth. That's a good cube right there. And so we start with that cube that's facing us the most front, the one closest to us. And then again, we just draw the next front faces. And then we add our diagonal lines. We're only going back 2 units, 2 diagonal units. Actually kind of turned out pretty nice. I like the bigger scale. And then of course, if I wanted to, I can paint the sides that dark gray or shade them in if I'm using pencil, just like that. And so that's what you would do if you have a puzzle cube or any other object that is deeper than 1 cube in depth. You would simply draw the whatever is closest to you, draw that first, and then add on to it in the back from the back corners. Of course, this isn't finished. We have to click on the text tool, click on the transparent option, click and drag to draw our name. So my name, it's going to always also be the last color you select. So make sure you change that. And I'm going to use a bigger font here. The title for this is going to be Oblique Sketch. Let's just leave it Oblique Sketch. I haven't thought about that far. And then whatever the date is and whatever period I have you for. Okay. So what I would love to see is at least one version of the cube. And then if you want to make it bigger, try it out. I'll give you bonus points if you make it the bigger scale. So that's how you would draw an oblique cabinet sketch of an object that has 2 cube depth. And if you get stuck or need help, please reach out or play and pause this video back again. Try it on paper maybe. Try it on this again. You have plenty of space where you can make mistakes and errors until you get it correct. So can't wait to see what you got. Make sure you go to File, Save As, and download that image for you to upload and submit.